Greetings everyone, my name is Dr. Jason Freeman. I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. In this video I review episode 2 of season 2 of Loki titled Breaking Brade. I'm going to tell you what I liked about the episode, I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about the episode, then I'm going to tell you why I think you should see the episode or just skip it. So let's just get to it. What did I like about the episode? Well, the first thing I liked about the episode is that we got to see a little bit of the old Loki. No, not the old Loki from the episode where there were all the variants. No, the Loki from Avengers, the Loki from the first Thor movie. You know, the evil, maniacal, serial killer Loki. So we first saw the old Loki in the opening of the show where we're seeing Brade Wolfe, X5, Hunter X5, who's essentially in this kind of life. I don't know if it was his actual life from that he was kidnapped from, or if this was a life that he kind of just took on, and who knows what happened to his actual variant. But the point is, we got to see some old Loki. We got to see his powers, and that's always something that was always a little annoying about the first season. There was some there, but the idea was, this is Loki. This is Loki who fought Thor, the mighty Thor, hand to hand, and basically beat him. So Thor had to break the Rainbow Bridge to kind of protect Earth. And also there was that weapon that Loki had used to try to kill his people, the ice giants, which again is something they keep treating him like he's human. He's not human, he's an alien. But the point is, he basically beat Thor hand to hand, or he had Thor on the ropes where Thor had to make a desperate move. And so also he beat, you know, he threw, as we mentioned in the show, he threw Tony Stark out a window, you know, threw Iron Man out the window. He beat Captain America basically hand to hand in the Avengers movie. So here's the thing, he is a powerful figure, and they seem to be kind of diminishing him a little bit. But we saw his powers, we saw the old Loki at the very beginning when they captured Hunter X5. We also see the old Loki at one point in the middle of this episode. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's a section where we start to see kind of the villainous aspect of Loki come out again, which again, I get Loki's an anti-hero, but to me this is the same person who again was murdering people and was, you know, causing so much havoc, so much damage in New York in the first Avengers movie. So again, I like to see that character come out, so it feels like, okay, so this is actual Loki, but somehow, you know, he has changed. He's definitely leaning towards the more good aspects of his character, of his nature. But I love to see the old Loki come out every so often, kind of remind us this is why we like the character in the first place. Okay, maybe not liked. This is why he was a great villain. He was, you know, they talked about the whole, you know, Marvel villain curse, and I thought Loki was a great in both Thor as well as in the Avengers movie. So this is why Loki's a great villain. Now Ragnarok does a whole different thing. I mean, I thought it was funny, but Ragnarok it just kind of like with this show to an extent, it feels like an Elseworlds, and I know it's different, but it feels like an Elseworld thing. Like Ragnarok does not feel like it's in my opinion, part of the actual continuity of, you know, of the MCU. You know, I think about Black Panther, I think about Winter Soldier. It doesn't, you know, Ragnarok and this show to some extent does not feel like it's part of this same world. Another thing I liked about this episode are all the situations where you had Loki and Sylvie together. Now I know Sylvie and Loki are basically the same person. It's just that kind of way I think about it. I'm assuming the ice giants have the same chromosomes. You know, one is XX, so Sylvie's XX chromosomes, and Loki's XY, but it's the same person. And so it makes it a little weird that they're falling in love with each other. But again, we deal with, you know, you think about Cersei and Jaime on Game of Thrones, or Dany and Jon Snow, who are aunt and nephew on Game of Thrones. It's like, okay, I can deal with it, it's fine. These are fictional characters, I can deal with it, but it's a little weird. But anytime they're together, they have amazing chemistry. Both the characters and it seems like the actors have great chemistry as well. I love seeing them on the screen together, and you know, it seems like those characters have genuine affection for each other, to the point where, you know, they have multiple chances to, you know, deal with the other, even when the other is a threat, and they are doing everything they can not to do that. And so, you know, that to try to eliminate the other Loki. And another thing I liked about this episode is the end. Now, I'm not going to spoil the end. I'm not going to spoil the mystery. but the end has action. It has an emotional kind of hit. All of the characters are at their best at the very end, in my opinion. And so, yes, I really like the way this episode ended. And so, if I was going to take the highlight of the show, it was where, it took us a while to get to that place, but where they got to at the very end of the episode, I thought was really good. So that's definitely a plus for this episode. Alright, so what didn't I like about the episode? Well, I didn't like the chattiness and the quippiness in the middle. In particular, all the stuff with Hunter X5 or Brad, the episode's called Breaking Brad. I felt like he was annoying. I felt like he wasn't very funny. I know they were trying to do comedy with him. I didn't think anything he did was really funny. And it's like, I don't enjoy this at all. And they use Brad X5, whatever, to try to bring out Loki's evil side. And I don't think it was necessary. I think that the situation itself, I wish they found a way to make the situation itself push Loki a bit rather than having this character who I didn't really care for doing it. So, should you see episode 2 of Loki season 2 or just skip it? I say you should see it. Now, I think it is setting up for something really good. We have not seen Jonathan Majors yet, so I'll throw that out. We haven't seen him yet. Obviously, he's in the trailer. He's been mentioned. Technically, I guess we've seen his image, but not the actual actor. And so, so I think that it's going somewhere really good. At least I hope it does. And for this particular episode, I think it does set some stuff up. We get to see the TVA and kind of how evil they can be. Again, not to say anything else about that, but I think we're going somewhere good. So I say see it. But if you're going to watch it, you haven't seen it yet, you can watch the beginning, the opening scene where they're first interacting with Brad. There's a scene in the middle with Loki and Brad that's good, or Hunter X5. And then the very end when they bring in Sylvie. So you can fast forward through the other stuff. You can skip that part. But the beginning, that middle scene, and the end, if I watch it again, I can't watch the jokey stuff. It's not good. Now, if you found that review interesting and or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please share this video. And if there are other sci-fi properties or comic properties you want me to review on this channel, please leave those suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.